In today's video, we shall be talking about the 2001 Pixar classic movie, Monsters, Inc. This movie stars the likes of John Goodman, Billy Crystal, John Ratzenberger, and even Steve Buscemi, yet again. This movie follows the journey of Mike and Sulley on becoming the biggest scarers in Monsters Incorporated. However, with the threat of Randall as Sulley's lead competitor, this is the least of his worries as the immersion of his young human child is in his life and he's soon going to halt the path to success. So let's get into it. So what I like then about this movie is the general progression of the story. As we see the development of Sulley becoming a father figure to Boo and realizes that these humans are not as dangerous as he once seemed to be. Moving on then, we also see a change in Mike Wazowski from the start of the movie to the end of the movie, as we see that he changed from being quite self-centered and selfish to thinking about others, as he was able to do something very good for Sulley, who missed Boo after the door was destroyed at the end of the movie, and helped rebuild the door in secret, and the missing piece that Sulley had on him, slotted in the door and fixed the door for Sulley. And this was the first time Mike actually did something for somebody else, as he really wanted to get rid of Boo just like that. Additionally, we identify that Randall's downfall as we see that Boo is the nail in his coffin for him, as those times Randall scared her as a kid, she was the one that really helped stick it to him and helped defeat him as she beat him down with a baseball bat. What I also liked about this movie was the cool partnership between Sulley and Mikey, in which Mike Wazowski, should I say, not Mikey, that these two in the legendary formidable partnerships of the likes of Shrek and Donkey. They're in the thing of Lilo and Stitch, they're in the same thing as Woody and Buzz, and they're just in that legendary group of partnerships in animated movies, as they were so good together working in not only this movie but Monsters University, and they show their comedic sides between Billy Crystal and John Goodman, and they worked well together, they gelled well together, they had amazing chemistry, and that's why their partnership worked. I also like the inclusion of Easter eggs in this movie, as we all know how ridiculous it would have been for me to not have looked into the Easter eggs in this particular movie, especially as there were so many. As we saw the likes when towards the end of the movie, where Sulley is in Boo's room and Boo is showing him all her favorite toys, and the one that she picks out to look at is Jessie, which is obviously a link to the Toy Story 2 movie, which was the prior movie to this one coming out. And we also saw the reaction to him being handed the Nemo, which was the next movie, Finding Nemo, after this movie and after this Pixar movie. And it was great to see the little connections to these movies, not to forget the big Toy Story ball as well, which is seen in the corner or in the middle of the room, in which represents obviously the Toy Story franchise and mainly the Toy Story 1 movie. So basically there's several connections to several other movies, and also foreshadows, like I previously mentioned with the Finding Nemo, of the next movie. And that's what I like about the Pixar movies, as it highlights future movies or is a quick nod to older movies. And the last one in the Easter egg sort of thing is the blue wallpaper with the white clouds on it, as this is used in a scene with Randall where he's trying to camouflage into each one of them, and he uses the one with the white clouds and the clouds on it, and he is able to merge into it or act like he is part of the wallpaper and makes himself camouflaged. And that is obviously a nod to the first Toy Story movie. I think it's in the second. I think it's in all of them, to be fair. But that's a quick nod to the Toy Story franchise as well. Finally, I also like the actors in this movie, as there were some incredible actors in this movie. So let's start off with John Goodman, as I really enjoyed him playing Sulley, and I cannot think of a better person to have played Sulley at this time, as he had the perfect voice for him. He was actually incredible as an actor and really helped give Sulley his voice, and the thing as a kid of every time you heard that voice, it was like, oh, that's John Goodman, oh, that's Sulley. And his voice is tied to me and is very special, because as a kid, Monsters Inc. used to be played all the time, and is one of my favourite animated movies. And that's why I really think he's very influential in not just my childhood, but many people's childhood as a kid watching this movie and thinking, I can hear Sulley's voice, and that is John Goodman. Moving on, Mike Wazowski being played by Billy Crystal was also immense, as he helped bring the annoying sort of character but sidekick element to the character as well, and he was great. He was funny, he brought the comedic aspect in the partnership, like similar to what Donkey does with Shrek and Donkey. And yeah, he was brilliant. And again, same with that John Goodman. He is a voice of my childhood, and one that I'll be ever so hearing every time I watch Monsters Inc. and thinking, that childhood memory of just watching Monsters Inc. on repeat, as it's something that many people will pick up. It's nostalgia of sitting there in front of the telly watching Monsters Inc. as a kid. And it's because of the likes of these actors. I also want to mention how good Steve Buscemi was as Randall, as he played the excellent villain. And to me, he isn't tied to just one role, Steve Buscemi. Even though he was brilliant in this movie, I didn't even realise he was in that many movies. But he's in this movie, he's in Monster House and Nebuchadnezzar, which we've covered, so go and check that down in the description if you have not watched that movie review already. We have also covered him in Boss Baby, and that will also be in the description, so go check that out as well. He has been in everything, and he still amuses me, and still surprises me how many movies he's actually been in and been a big impact in how successful that movie was. As before I start this channel and before we start the recommended review channel, I didn't really rate Steve Buscemi that much, but now my mind is blown as we're looking into most of these animated movies, and he is incredible in most of them, or if not all of them. Also, big up to John Ratzenberger, who is in practically every Pixar movie, and this is not the only movie we will be covering him in, because I think he's in every Pixar movie as he plays a little cameo. Just to give him a couple of things that I liked about him, is that he was incredible as the voice of the big sort of fucking snow guy, and his voice is so recognisable. And also, like I said, we are going to cover him in many other Pixar movies because his voice is so recognisable. You watch a movie, Toy Story for example, and you're listening to his voice here in Toy Story, and then listening over here to him in Monsters Inc. as the big snow guy offering people snow cones. He is legit an iconic voice in our childhood, as he plays Ham in Toy Story, he plays the snow guy in here. He also plays Mac in Cars. That's just to mention a few. He's been in lots in his time at Pixar, and he is easily recognisable, hence why he was so good in this movie, and I could not move on from this movie review without at least giving him a mention. To summarise then, this is probably one, or if not the best animated movie ever made, in which is a big bold statement, but if you watch it you'll understand, and for many of us it's very nostalgic. And this movie is probably one of the, if not the best movie in 2001, as well as you could probably say, well, it's either Shrek or it's Monsters Inc. It's one of them, isn't it? So, this is the reason why I had to rate this a legendary film and a 9.2 out of 10. So let me know down in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree with anything I have said in this video, and tell me why you say that you agree or disagree so that we can have a nice friendly conversation in the chat. Also, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be alerted to all the new content this channel creates, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Later.